Right guys, thank you for watching another video, and this one is going to be my video review for LEGO Lord of the Rings. So I hope you enjoy it, and thank you for watching.
Let's face it, Mr. Frodo. We're lost. I don't think Gandalf meant for us to come this way.
He didn't mean for a lot of things to happen, Sam.
There's not really much need for me to go into detail about the story of the game because you probably all know it already. You're probably all familiar with the three films and know the story inside out. But what Traveller's Tales really do well is to incorporate these three films into this one game without taking away any of the important parts, and it's still understandable for younger players to get a grasp of the storyline without losing out on anything. So the story does follow the events of the Fellowship of the Ring, Two Towers and Return of the King, and you get the usual LEGO humour, but the game also does a good job of staying faithful to the three films without resorting to the hatchet or shoehorning of unneeded gameplay.
Theoden King stands alone. Not alone.
Over the lengthy campaign, it picks out all the major moments from the films and threads them into familiar LEGO gameplay. The narrative telling has been boosted by the smart decision to just lift dialogue direct from the movies and apply it to the characters. It really does work well because older gamers are going to get a sense of, it's like a bit more of a hardcore game if you're actually seeing these characters talking and seeing their emotions and everything. Now, even though they are on a LEGO character, it does really work. It does add authenticity and familiarity, although a LEGO character with the voice of Ian McKellen or Christopher Lee does look very strange, and it is quite funny to see, but as you play the game you get more into it and you really believe these characters even though you're looking at a LEGO brick. If you've played any of the past LEGO games, you're going to be able to pick this up and play it without any problems at all. It plays very similarly to the Harry Potter games, the Batman games, all of those. It's very similar and easy to pick up for anyone of all ages. And again, that's what Traveller's Tales do. They want people of all ages to be able to pick up this game without any problems at all. So younger gamers can pick it up and play with great ease, and older gamers are still going to have a hardcore experience with the nature of the game, with it being set in Lord of the Rings. There's a much stronger focus on actual attacking gameplay and enemies and everything like that, so the hardcore gamers are going to have a lot to do, and it's still a lot of fun for the younger gamers as well. Now, there is a big mixture of puzzle gameplay and action gameplay, and this is represented through the use of the different characters. Now, as you know, Lord of the Rings is a massive universe, so there's hundreds of characters that you can play as in the game, and the smaller Hobbit type characters, so you've got, especially the one example is Sam. Sam's role in the game is much more of a kind of mechanic type person, so he does all the things like digging holes to unlock extra pathways, he lights fires and things like that, so he's not very good in attack wise. And of course you've got people like Aragorn, Legolas and Gimli, which are going to be great for attacking and everything like that. So once the game splits up in the Two Towers and you've got Frodo and Sam's and Gollum's storyline compared to Legolas, Aragorn and Gimli's storyline, you know what kind of missions you're going to get. So with Aragorn, Legolas and Gimli's missions, you get very much kind of action platformer style gameplay, very kind of basic linear path that you need to follow and kind of take out waves of enemies and everything like that. There's not too much puzzle gameplay that you need to know. It's got the familiar LEGO puzzles that all LEGO games have had in the past, such as collecting LEGO bricks and then building them up to open a new door or something like that. But once you play as Frodo, Sam and Gollum, you're going to get a much more kind of puzzle based gameplay and something you need to really think about to progress. It does really work because it splits the game up into kind of two halves, so you're not always doing the same sort of thing. So it does add a bit of kind of flexibility to the game where you're not always doing the same thing, which is great in my opinion.
Could have picked a better spot. What's happening out there?
Shall I describe it to you? Or would you like me to find you a box?
Of course, the game is split up into its 3 films, and each film contains around 6 or 7 lengthy missions involving different characters, giving you a brief understanding of the basic storyline of The Lord of the Rings. And now each stage does bring a range of basic puzzles and light combat. Enemies such as orcs and urukai will swarm in, but they can be easily killed and dispatched just by hammering the action button on the control pad. Even if you run out of hearts, you reappear almost instantly, ensuring that the action is really fluid and really fast, and you can switch between characters to access their respective abilities, like I said, such as Sam being able to light fires, and Legolas being able to use his bow to dispatch enemies from a far distance. The game certainly feels much bigger and open than any previous title in the LEGO series. If I were to compare this to any other game, I would say this is LEGO's version of Skyrim. The world, the Middle-earth, is so open, so expansive, and it's just like any Middle-earth you've wanted to play as in a video game version of Lord of the Rings. It's perfect, it's completely open world and you can travel anywhere you like. If you've played any previous LEGO games before, you'll know what to expect in terms of the visuals of the game. It's very similar to the past Harry Potter, Batman, Indiana Jones, Star Wars games. They all have that similar kind of style in the terms of the characters. But what makes LEGO Lord of the Rings stand out in visuals compared to those past games is the setting. And now the setting of Middle-earth is absolutely breathtaking. Vast open land, all the trees, all the water, it looks perfect, and it really is how I imagined Middle-earth to be in a video game. Now, I don't usually talk about sound too much in my reviews of games, but I quickly wanted to talk about the sound in the LEGO Lord of the Rings. Now, this is perfect because if you've seen the Lord of the Rings movies, you'll know how powerful the soundtrack is. And all of the famous songs and all of the dialogue has been ported directly from the movies to the game, which makes the game really, really unique compared to the past LEGO games, and it really does stand out. There's nothing more exciting than seeing Gandalf's famous "You shall not pass" scene in LEGO form. And strangely, I got kind of goosebumps watching it because of the music and everything like that. It gave me that same sense of feeling as I did when I watched the movie for the first time. What we've got here is the single best Lord of the Rings game yet made, and more proof that the LEGO license still has some life left in it. Despite a few bugs and flaws with the gameplay, it's still a very, very enjoyable experience, but one I recommend you do play via co-op with a friend. With Middle-earth being massively open world and loads of side missions and collectibles that are going to keep you busy for hours on end once the main story has been completed, it's definitely a game that's worth your money, especially, like I said, for Lord of the Rings fans and LEGO fans. So for that reason, I'm going to give the game a strong 8.5 out of 10, and I definitely recommend you pick this one up. To end my review, I'm just going to leave you with one of the funniest cutscenes that I've seen in the game. I can't really explain why it's funny, it just is. Just keep an eye on Frodo's character and just see how kind of funny he is when he walks off away from the camera. I can't describe why it's funny. It just is.
Strider will look after him.
Sam. I'm glad you're with me.